I know many of you will be excited to see me. Many of you will not be so excited to see me. But I'm going to speak my truth. And who this truth will reach to, what impact it will have on 3D or on 5D, that is up to God to decide. But I was really nudged. I was really pulled, and I was really guided to make this video because it's high time to call out certain nonsense that we have seen in spiritual community, and that is why there's a lot of turmoil and internal conflict and silent war and game of power, game of snatching power, game of trying to be another being is somewhere being circulated. And the circulation has been terrific to the extent that really indeed that everything looks like a marketplace, but it all along was there this way. And this is where spiritual poverty comes in, and lack of awareness with what is comes in. That is what is going on with the collective energy at this point of time. You might have come across thought processes of, and that was something I was standing truly against, because I was not up to even calling myself spirituality or a new ager, and I was rather sticking to manifestation or spell casting. The reason being that I was clearly seeing through certain aspects of bullyism that was going on in the new age industry. And this video is just for those few people, and that is why new age and spiritual poverty is the tagline. And I really truly intend with all my heart that this message reaches out to a lot of people, and I really intend that this truth really comes out. And even if it does not, my internal work of sharing this will be bringing in collective harmony in the process of restructuring, and that is from where I am making this video. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come up and talked about something like this, because it's not even a part of my profession. My profession is to be a manifestation coach, to cast spells, to do Reiki. So this is how I drew boundaries between my personal life and professional life. You could say that whatever I'm sharing is actually a realization of out of my personal life that I am coming here and sharing. So whenever we start to get into spiritual poverty, it happens by tapping into a reality of consciousness that is coming from the mentality of, but this is God's work, how can you charge? But this is coming from God, how can you charge? But this is so profound, how can you charge? But this is so deep, how can you charge? It's of God, how can you charge? And these are the thought patterns and processes that has been imbibed into mainstream spirituality to cause the energy of spiritual poverty to rise up. But whenever we start to see spirituality is a way of life, and it is my personal life, because as I said, it's a way of life. I have been living a spiritual life all my life. A spiritual life is a life where you live through realizations and wisdom and knowledge within. And wisdom and knowledge within is very rich, and then enriching property of wisdom and knowledge is beyond any measure. And often at times we, as spiritual teachers, get into this energy of we want to be seen, we want to be heard. Even if we are wanting to already seen and heard, we do not really feel seen and heard. And that rage, that inner conflict of not truly being seen and heard, often at times makes a spiritual teacher tap into a reality where they start to feel that money is bad, money is evil, and a lot more other stuff. And yes, a lot of people who are coming from normal background as well, or having a restaurant, or having a bar, or having a really thug life, they are maybe coming to that prospect from a state of consciousness of having money blocks. But money blocks and spiritual poverty are not the same. Spiritual poverty has been integrated and imbibed by churches and religious authorities for years through conditioning, and the idea of God being exclusive to spirituality, because it is a study of body, of embodying the divinity. Religiosity also does that. But however, God has been seen as a separate entity in the spiritual dimension till date. And this is why there's so much of chaos, there's so much of confusion, and I really had to speak up. And I was really being nudged to. So here I am. And I am really in a dimension at this point of time where I don't even have a second option than not to say the things I'm sharing right now, because it's literally a calling from within for my soul family, for the essence of my being to be in a state of alignment with the planetary vibration. And that's the life of living in spirituality is. It's really very deep. And because of its depth, I have never really nurtured that depth or talked about that depth out loud, because this knowledge is extremely very precious to me. And having to be very precious to me, I have only taken decision and shared things as God has guided me when I was living my life purpose. So whenever the idea of life purpose and spirituality comes in, we're all here for a particular calling. No calling is unholy. Every calling is equally holy. We're all here for an individual purpose, individual calling. Yes, there is a spiritual teacher in all of us. But I till date did not let the spiritual teacher in me speak, because I only let this voice of me speak out loud when it's an urgency, it's a necessity to reach out this to through this message to the Twin Flame Collective. But however, I do not do this at this propensity out loud, because it is not my calling always from within to go out there and share what's going on in my personal space with God. However, because this is literally my personal life, like literally I am talking to you from a place of my personal life right now. And I am being nudged to do that, because enough is enough. There is a lot of shit going on in the collective energy, and this is high time to speak the truth of collective. So at this point of time, we are living in a state where there's a lot of commercialization of spirituality going on, the commercialization of the deeper truth going on. And the essence of the deeper truth is at such depth that it's not even out there literally, but the remnants of it that is there, that is inflamming the who have been imbibing the essence of true nurturing essence of what's really going on spiritually. But somewhere deep down, we as a collective have reached that state of not being able to be ourselves or share our truth or do something, because there have been a lot of conscious intrusion of others very consciously. And even though that the outside reality is a creation, but with the creation and twist and turn with manipulation for the growth of business happens only in a society where there is that imbibed energy of rat race. And QD8 has always stood apart from the rat race because we were just chilling and exploring and expanding in our own way, creating our own world. Because I never wanted to get into that shit. I never wanted to contribute in that shit. Because I just didn't want drama. Unnecessary drama of collective competition was something that I wasn't willing to fight out there, but I was willing to fight inside. And the collective energy at this point of time has such competitive energy, has such a rageful energy, that there is that energy of who knows more than was truly coming from within. And this is where there has been a spiritual disconnect of the spiritual communities from the essence of God. And it is also for a purpose to consider God as exclusive to spirituality. But God is not exclusive to spirituality, God is the power through which everything is possible. Like psychic surgery in Reiki is a method to do surgery. Normal surgery in hospitals are a way of doing surgery. But yes, there's a lot of cacophony and amalgamation of medicines going on, a lot of conspiracies there where doctors slow down the process, elongate the process, prolong the process, or provide wrong information to patients. That's also where there has been an immense rise in this process for real true doctors to come ahead and change been everything that has been the way that was in last 2-3 years, have created the pressure for the collective to make people now stand apart and give the best version of themselves. And it's just not one person who has to do it, but every individual in every industry has to do it and have to give their best will be getting into a collective state of unity from poverty to abundance consciousness. Otherwise, in every industry, be it spiritual or any other industry, there will always be that interfacing rat race causing competition, feeling like, and we are all a collective consciousness. We're all in one consciousness. A lot of people told me, why don't you do reading? Why don't you do reading? Why I moved to manifestation? Is because to imagine and to create a reality for myself is better than resonating to the same problem I was going through again and again every day, and to rant about how sad you are, how much problematic life is. We will be stuck in the problems. And when we are stuck in the problems, we keep on swaying into this need, that help. And when we continue in that process, there is never any state of peace within. And somewhere deep down, the collective competition has tossed up the peace, and people are scared to even completely reveal the truth and give the other person peace, because at the end of the day, people are scared there will not be enough for people. However, that's not how anxiety and depression works. Coming from a therapist, I'm a quantum integration therapist specialized in work intelligence expansion. The name clearly suggests that I have nothing to do with spirituality. I have everything to do with science. So here we don't have spiritual poverty because you know how much Tesla costs, right? So the point is that humanity needs to change the perspective of seeing through hypocrisy. We see everything to hypocrisy, and seeing everything to hypocrisy, we have started to depend on people so much that the dependency on those people have literally made those people lose their selves. We talk about the celebrities and we say that the celebrities are stuck in their stories, the celebrities are stuck in whatever they're doing. That is because they're just living their life. They don't really need to go ahead and share the voice of spirituality unless and until they are really being guided to. They are just living their life. Every celebrity out there you will see sometimes giving motivational speech, that is also coming from where they are living within, they are stable within. To go through the spiritual upheavals of collective, or to tap into the twin flame consciousness of the upheavals of collective, it's just somewhere deep down a creation of collective narrative right now, where there's a lot of topsy-turvy commercialization of spirituality going on, where people are literally lost. And the reason being they are lost is because they have all started to see the journey as exclusive. And the moment we start to see something as exclusive from the whole planet, from whole God, we start to exclude it. But it was there all along. It is the commonest thing that was there all along. It's that one love, true love you were searching for all your life, who you vibe with truly, who is designed for you in God. And that design that you have with your person, that finds itself as you flow in the course of our mission, and everything is happening perfectly. However, when people have spiritual poverty and people have the mindset that, but how can this person do this? This is a spiritual mission. How can that person do this? We are going towards a rapture. Rapture happens every year. And as far as the restructuring of the system is concerned, everything is happening perfectly. The entire collective consciousness is in a state of trying to figure things out. And trying to figure things out, we have seen people who have chosen to be silent and stagnant, to just say that this is what is going on. And that is where the collectives are getting swayed in the wrong path. And that is why I am being forced to speak, because I can see through. But it's not my purpose to call out, because the depth and intensity at which I'm going to be sharing will be from a place of clarity. So, a person who's not having a clarity, or is going through spiritual poverty, or has religious conditioning of core beliefs, will be in a state where the person is deliberately choosing to be in a state of lack. And this is where also the trigger comes in, when you will see that when a car, I have been there myself, when a person is in trauma bonding situation or karmic situation, if you go ahead and tell that person that, hey, person is your karmic, this is like a trauma bonding connection, and that person freaks out because that person cannot see. And the person cannot see because the person is to really understand that love within. Everything that has been, according to me, has been perfect. But the competition rage and everything that has been, that has actually dismantled the collective unity, and We're all kind of in a zone of zzz, now what? And that is where I was literally nudged to make this video. And I know it's a part of my soul's calling, and I could literally feel the soul calling when I'm speaking. So I'm really vibing well to say these things. And definitely, this is not my source of income because I do not have a crowd to align with to make this my source of income or live that purpose. And also at the same time, if someone asks me, will you quit the matrix? And I'm going to clearly say, what is the matrix? My life is literally a science fiction. And I believe in manifesting, living your life, learning new things, sharing new things, and exploring various aspects of life. And when you are exploring various aspects of life, exploring various domains of life, you just chill through the process of life, and spirituality is a part of your life, spirituality is a part of your living. It just flows. And to have your harmonious union, to unite with a person who's your twin flame, it just happens through you living your purpose. You just happens through you being yourself. And I have always been myself, and I am still being myself to just share this, but I am going to still call it out, and I'm still going to talk about this, that stop this spiritual poverty nonsense. Because if you come to me for service and tell me, I'm going to be clearly showing you my certificates from Tony Robbins and telling you that I'm a mainstream entrepreneur, and ask you to come back to 3D and show you what's really going on around. And then you might be like, but my 5D, your 5D is happening inside of your heart, and it's happening inside of every human being. Nobody is like extra special to have a realization going on inside of them, but it's about nurturing, it's about channelizing it in certain way, and it's about really contributing through that way. And however we are contributing through that way, whenever the contribution becomes and comes in a state of controversy and conspiracy, where we are talking about this person, that person, doing this, doing that, we create collective chaos. And that is where the human collective right now is, in that chaos. And that chaos happens when we forget that our journey is within, and when we disconnect from what's really the structure of the world right now. And when we realize that, we reconnect back and ground back to what is now. And when you ground back to what is now, this is coming to you from a person who has been having plethora of success stories through manifestation instantly. An instant manifestation is a path where your internal reality and external reality are in alignment. Your mind has clarity. You see through the possibilities. You just choose that possibility and it's done. You just tap into that vibrational reality and it's done. But to reach this form of stability, to reach this state of alignment, is where the humanity's collective consciousness is shifting through to go through. And in the process of that shifting and going through the process, we learn and inculcate gifts, and we learn and inculcate other stuff as tapping into another person's consciousness and trying to share their share of words. But also that is happening in divine unity, and it is also happening so that the best of best can have that motivating factor within to get activated to propel forward, to speak the words of God. And the spiritual poverty comes from a place of literally having that collective mindset that but this person is doing God's work. And that's where we need to realize that everything is God's work. Like from Instagram to Facebook to real estate, everything is God's work. You will see that every human acknowledges God. And if you are acknowledging God more, if you are feeling that power of God more, then with that power of God, channelize that in what you truly love to do, because God has given us all a unique purpose, all a unique hobby to just flow in the course of our being. And if you are coming from a place of, I really want to do this to earn money, you're free to do that. And you are being asked to do that by God, by the virtue of your vibration. But however, that vibration may enrage the collective, that vibration may enrage the anger in collective for having greed, of having jealousy, of having contempt towards the collective energy. But there's no point having contempt or rage for the collective energy, because everything that just is. And whenever a person attracts a crowd also which kind of feels like that money is evil, that is evil, this is evil, that person has to go within and work on their core beliefs, integrate their core beliefs, nurture their core beliefs, and transcend the connectivity with what is, to choose to create a reality according to their preference. And to have that done, to have that cultivated, every human has to come in a state of clarity. And when the human beings come in a state of clarity, we will see that we are all perfectly ascending and contributing to the ascension process based on where we are at, and everything is happening perfectly. And who's ready, who's not, what's ego, what's not, it's all collectively being perfectly being channelized and is going through, because God has a bigger plan, and twin flames are here for God. And God can talk through anybody and everybody. But those who are really born with the purpose to talk about God, we people cannot really do that just like that. Because unless and until we feel that alignment within and really we are being pushed to, and we feel like this is the right time, only then we can do it. And that is how precious this is. And I wouldn't ever do it unless and until the collective is out of the spiritual poverty. And that is why I will always choose to do it by being a quantum dynamic 8 entrepreneur on the sideline and then sharing it. Because to hell with collective spiritual poverty, I'm not going to put up with that shit, because people are in their ego. And people are in their ego because they think that they know it all. And that is also God's plan, because not everybody has that taste and essence for something so deep and profound. And it is about those who have the taste for this deeper quality of this essence. And that is what spirituality all along has been about. The spiritual poverty term itself was coined by Yogananda. And spiritual poverty happens when we do not see this enriching value. And unless and until we really truly come into a state of alignment with our being to share this value and catch that momentum, we must just keep going and exploring our life and take calculative risks and chill in 3D and chill and not take this so seriously, because it's not a competition. But however, the competition out there is getting really funny. So I was really guided to make this message, share this message across, because To hell with the competition, to hell with this energy of competitiveness that's growing up for the collective, and having that competitive energy or triggering people to wake up from where they are within and outside is not really a solution, because everybody knows the shit they are doing and everything is happening perfectly. And the sooner we start to realize that everything is perfect, there will already be collective unity. But the lack of unity comes from intrusion, always from the outside, and that's also happening in God's plan. And it's all perfectly aligning in God's plan. And right now, we are propelling forward in God's plan. And this is but God's plan that I was really nudged to share these words. But spiritual poverty, it's just those mentality of narcissists. I'll tell you, my ex who beat the hell out of me, that ex, he had come down and told me, oh, you are doing scamming, you're doing tarot, you're doing all of these things. These are not real. Only what we do are real. This is how a lot of people see that, because they do not have that mindset to see or understand that, okay, another thing is possible, how that will be possible, what is the perspective of that. People don't even have that brains. One of my other ex had told me something hilarious. So this person tells me that you say Gaia, Gaia, you talk about Gaia. You know, Gaia is a satellite. I'm like, huh? You can have satellite by your name also. I told him, you can have satellite by name of unicorn also. You can just have any satellite by any name. And he's like, no, it's not planet. It's satellite. I'm like, great, bro, great. And he would get into debate with me if I told him anything. So I just told him, okay, bro, chill. And the whole point is that I have seen it in my life and around that spirituality is something that flares a lot of people's ego, because it's like, it's my journey, it's my path, I have believed in this truth. And even if you say that this is God's truth, and then you will hear from New Agers like, God's truth? I am God. Which God? Which God are you talking about? So it's a very conspicuous subject in itself. And when it is such a wide conspicuous subject in itself, nobody out there is waiting for the truth. So you have to share the truth in your own way, have fun, enjoy your life, and also choose to embody the essence of luxury. When you cannot embody the essence of luxury and have that energy of what will people say, if I embody luxury, how will people react? That is where healing is needed. Whenever we get into the zone of the energy of what will people say if I do this, if I do that, I'm really entrapped by what will people say. You really need to understand that it doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter who's bothered to listen. It doesn't matter who wants to listen to you or who doesn't want to listen to you. You do it anyway because you feel good. And that is the essence of your flow, which connects you to your spiritual soul tribe, that connects you to your spirit, keeps you connected through your spiritual soul essence. And that I believe that every therapist personally should do, and every human being out there should do, just talk their heart out of what's really going on and just pour what's really they are tapping into and just share. It would be a beautiful thing to just share and chill with. But however, you can be anything along with that. Like, for example, Alia Bhatt can have a channel where she's just sharing these things. And at the end of the day in Matrix, she's an actress. Similarly, I'm just sharing these things just like that. And in the Matrix, I'm an entrepreneur. And the Matrix and this tricks are not different from me. But this is literally my personal life, and that is what your spirituality is, your internal personal life. And what people feel bad is that I cannot make business out of this personal life. And you cannot truly do that until you are in a state of stability internally and are very sure. And if not, then you have to find an adjacent way of going forward. If you are a person who's constantly expanding and constantly exploring, always thinking, always wanting to engulf in the true essence of life, you would be in a zone like me who's gone too deep to explore too much of depth. And you would really wonder, like me, that if I even share what I have to say, who will hear, who will get? And that's where if you're coming from. You can also channelize the energy through manifestation. That's how I do it, because through manifestation I can really connect to a lot more people than to go with it and share things at the depth I see it, because I like to really go deep. I really like to see things on a deep way and relinquish that essence, because this trip is the greatest trip of my life. And whenever we are tripping inside, having to see the trip, we get tripped out when we see certain things. And now the shit has become so real that I literally had to talk it out, because I wouldn't be able to trip and chill and vibrate and chill and be in the calibration of momentum that I need to be in my personal life to be in pace. That with my clients, that is where I had to come up ahead and share this, because so that I don't get lost. So the point is, competitiveness and everythingness will go on, and it will go on because not everybody is out there to get you. Everybody is also in their own trip inside, tripping on their own self. It's not even about you. And beyond this trip, the only person who gets exactly how you trip is your twin flame. If you truly want to trip and have that kind of trip, and trip like really, really trip and have fun in this trip, then choose to trip with your twin flame, which is you within, with your being. Don't get caught up in the collective reality of what's happening, who's acting like what. Understand that it's the inner trip or their collective consciousness of conditioning that is making them trip in that way. But wherever you are tripping, your twin flame is exactly tripping. You and your twin flame are always in the same heart space, and that is from where you find a state of alignment with your twin flame. And there is no competition out there is no energy of competitive spirit out there. But whenever that competitiveness comes in and there's jittery coming in, that has literally left people in a state of confusion, of being bullied, of being made to feel like people are taking from me, people are snatching from me. And that is where the collective energy was put up into by manipulative games of consciousness, of 3D spirituality, which was forgetting to include God, but in the process of making God exclusivity and embodying the God spirit, there had been a prevalent disaster in embodying the Christed consciousness of God within. And that is from where the collective is in control. That is where the path is. The way is always Jesus. And that is where I chose manifestation personally, because I was like, to hell with this people. I'd rather choose manifestation because that was a more healthy way of being. So it comes back to this realization, this understanding that we really need to go within and choose to nurture and commit to this reality within, where we really and truly understand that if you truly want to live a life of your authentic self, and if you are coming from spiritual poverty, it is a disaster that you are contributing to the collective and making the reality very topsy-turvy. The idea that money is evil, money is bad, politicians are corrupt, this is corrupt, that is corrupt, there has been child trafficking, there has been that. If you really want to stop it, go ahead and have the guts to contribute in the government. Go ahead and find a way to directly collaborate with the government to find ideas or send ideas from your head of consciousness within yourself and contribute to it. A child like Greta could do it at, she is in class 7. A child activist like Greta could do it, and here we are giving ideas and thinking that, oh my god, how can this person say this, oh my god, how can that person say that, and this person must be in spiritual poverty, how can they do this, I won't let that happen. This is where people are coming from their ego, and that is where you're tripping in your personal life, and that is your consciousness speaking. And as long as people have that consciousness imbibed in them with that limiting thought process of this is bad, that is bad, this is how things can't be, that is how things can't be, things can't really change, this is how it has to be, it has always been that way, we will not let it change. The government does not think like this at all. At all. And the domains of reality which thinks like that are normal humans, the consumers, and that is why they are the consumers consuming and having to go on consuming and consuming and consuming. It's time to give. If we go on consuming and consuming and consuming and give really nothing in return and contribute really nothing in society, there forms grudge and hatred or anger or rage in collective, where we start to have such conditioning of money is bad, money is evil, I'm not doing this for money, I'm not doing this for that. Like, this is what is it that you are doing? You're living your life. You're just flowing in the course of your life. You're just chilling in the course of your life. That's what a normal vlogger too does. And they are also where they are living. If somebody has gone into depth, it is their credit that they have gone into their depth, and they must charge and they must put value to the depth they have been able to go within. And if people are not being able to see the enormity of that, those people don't deserve to see the enormity of that. This world is a marketplace, and this is where the confusion has started, and this is how Christ got crucified, that he started to feel that the world is a marketplace. The world is a marketplace. We are all here to chill, earn, whatever. But at the end of the day, your twin flame union, your harmonious unity with your twin flame, that sense of love and unity and that connection with someone who God has for you happens within in your personal life. And that unity that happens in your personal life, that happens beyond going the conditioning and going back to your childhood when you had first known the idea of love but did not start dating. So it's about decluttering a lot of your consciousness to take you back to the beginning of time. And the process of decluttering is an extremely scientific process. And it everything has everything to do with God. But in name of God, scaring people, or in name of God, threatening people that, oh my God, you're doing God's work, you can't charge. Or we are doing God's work, you're not choosing God, you're not from here. Both are extremely terrific ways of living. And that's where we are. And that is why there is so much of fear in the collective. And to stop the fear, we have to come to a state of neutrality. And the neutral point is to see things from logical point of view. The last point is that connection with God. Before that, there is a layer known as divine intelligence. And that intelligence is your intelligence. And that happens by really sharpening your skills in intellect. And your skills, intellect are enriching and are worthy and are beautiful and are profound. And with your enriching, enlightening knowledge, you can be freed from the crowd, from the matrix, from the energy you're tapping into. There's nothing you need to be scared of. There's nothing you need to be fearful of. There's nothing and nobody that can scare you away. There's nothing and nobody that can shake in your spirit, because whatever is shaking in your spirit is shaking itself. You're just feeling it shake. So you're not shaking. You are absolutely in your perfect state. And you are perfectly in your state of alignment. Now, in your state of alignment, take the charge to stand up for yourself. And you've now stood up for yourself. And now keep being here and keep chilling. And life is ecstatic, life is magical beyond spiritual poverty. And spiritual poverty comes from caring about people and not first focusing on God. Goes back to the old saying that those who are the friend of people are the god of enemy. You cannot serve two masters at the same time. So it goes back to choosing God. The Savior is ultimately God within. And to see God, to go within, there's a lot of decluttering process that comes in. And that process has been magnified as the collective has heightened in its skill set, in its intelligence and understanding. And that understanding is worthy of millions. Life is beyond trashing out on people. We can all have a thug life, chill life, be rich, be extremely in the most greatest state of life. And to do that, to allow ourselves to do that, we need to be freed from that jittery. We need to be freed from tapping into a consciousness that is feeding on us. If somebody is feeding on you and triggering you, that is being done because of their own agenda. And you don't need to tap into that agenda, because there are 2000 different people in this planet. And that's where really alignment with 3D and internal reality is a necessity, because that exclusivity causes alienation. Alienation causes separation consciousness, and separation consciousness makes us faded away in a lot of games of manipulation of others, because we are not in our true power in separation consciousness. Because in unity, we've always been as a collective consciousness. And the contrast to everything is a human made creation, but not from the God, but from the matrix, from the reality of 3D. And the reality of the 3D money and the divine money are one and the same. It's just about doing things truly from your heart and feeling that sense of satisfaction and feeling that relinquished essence to feel as if you've earned it from within and I've done it. And that is how even Virat Kohli earns. Because if you see his spirit even in the field, that guy deserves it all with all the spirit and conviction. Then why not the spiritual teachers who are motivating you out there? But however, to see that if the collective unity is not in that state of intelligence, that is also in harmonious unity to take stand and deliberately push through and take stand for your own self, to create things of your own self and take steps by taking risk and just going ahead and doing things without caring about others but choosing that energy within, knowing it will take care of you. And that energy of knowingness shifts everything on the outside and makes people understand in a state of amalgamated unity that enough is enough of this competitive spirit. Let's contribute and come back and collaborate in humility, harmony, and unity. And with that being said, I am just very happy to share this. And if I'm again guided and nudged to share some spiritual thing, I'm definitely I'm gonna come ahead and share. But I really need to share this. So this is where I'm at in my twin flame inner work. So I can also show off, right? Like, I'm so spiritual, I am so heightened with my consciousness and I'm doing my inner work. But I'm not going to do that because I have been doing this forever. This is my way of living, this is my normal life. So you just ascend, and you just chill in a different zone altogether. And my area of interest is science. So I see everything and connect everything from science and therapy and connect. And that is where I share things what I share. But we're all spiritual and connected and united, and nothing is exclusively out there. And it is a very different reality from the reality of traditional 3D reality. And the traditional 3D reality does not connect from here, it connects from the consciousness. Like, what did you eat yesterday? Okay, yeah, that person did that thing, because that's what is going on inside. But that person who's in that state is also having a twin flame in that consciousness only, and they can all sit and do the same thing at that vibration. Meanwhile, if you really go within and want to nurture the essence of life, want to really know the essence of life, really want to learn things about life and God, you can really go within and deeper and understand that and nurture that. And if you cannot do that yourself, and if you hire a spiritual teacher, the spiritual teacher should charge a lot of money for that. And if they're not being able to charge that, or they are thinking like they'll not pay, they'll think this, then they can do something else like I do. But you are a human being, you should chill, have fun, you should wear Gucci, Prada, because they're also creation of creatives and it has God as much as everything else has God. Everything has God as much as everything else has God. Everyone is a child of God, from Karan Johar to Imtiaz Ali to everybody is a child of God, and everybody has a side of them which is connected to spirituality, but also at the same time there is a conditioning that the collective is carrying based on their own life patterns, based on society, based on what people will say, or based on spiritual poverty, or based on what spiritual colleagues will say, or based on what spiritual realm will say, based on how spiritual realm will act, based on anything. We are tapped into some or the other matrix. But to tap out of any and every matrix and to be in this confined state of harmony is just to be you. And to be you is to keep on nurturing and keep on working on releasing things that you have been projected onto by others, to really go within and understand and see what is really the truth of your life, to really see who you truly are, and to really see that true essence of life. And that is what truly seeking for God is, truly trying to understand this essence of life is. And to truly understand this essence of life, to truly feel this essence of life, to truly go within and feel this essence of life, to really dive deep to see that depth of essence of life, it takes a lot of conditioning. It takes a lot of clearing. It takes a lot of decluttering. And after a lot of declutter, after a lot of thought going here and there, why did that person do that? What karma I had? Who am I? Beyond all of that, there's a point of understanding that we're all one. And that point of understanding that we are all one, we are a sense of beingness, God is constantly talking through us. That essence is the flow from where spirituality flows, the true connection of twin flames flow, and that is from where the connection of twin flames unify with one another. And to teach that or to explain that, anybody can lose temper or mindset in a world like today's, because at the end of the day we are looking for a transcendental shift within, a way to alchemize this, because we're all lost trying to explain, because it's this truth that we understand and we are trying our best to exhibit and explain that in the same way to humanity. And the way and this expressivity is happening on this domain or level is because at the end of the day, through this expressivity, to this very understanding and this nurturance, we are reaching a state, a point ultimately within, to truly realize that nothing is right, nothing is wrong, nobody is answerable to no one, and we're all free. We're all free to truly, truly be our true selves. We're all free to truly, truly be our absolute perfect sense of self. And that absolute perfect sense of self, of being truly who you are, is just to just be. And to just be yourself is to just allow yourself to just chill. And to allow yourself to just chill is to just be unmoved by what's going on, and then you realize that everything outside of you is an imagination, and God itself is imagination. And that's where Neville Goddard's teachings come in. That's where manifestation comes in. And that is where it's time to create a reality of your own, and trying to nurture the spirit of your reality is a necessity. And letting go and forgiving yourself of all the conditioning, of all the triggers, and to truly realize that you're worthy of all the love. You're worthy of all the forgiveness. You're worthy of untapping from that matrix. You're worthy of freeing yourself from that matrix. You're worthy of surrendering yourself to God. You're worthy of coming out of this conundrum of matrix and know that you are out of that trigger, you're out of that energy where anything was holding you back. And often at times we get triggered by anything holding us back, anything keeping us stuck, because we think that it has to be in a certain way, because we are really scared of losing ourselves. We don't really have to lose ourselves, and everything has a way out. And the only way out is to just be our true selves and chill. And when we start to chill and be our true selves, everything else literally falls in place and literally starts to align, and everything falls in place in absolute harmony. Love is beyond just I love you. Love is truly standing for your own truth with in harmony with your true divine self, and that true divine self is your twin flame harboring within. Honor this love, worship this love in gratitude, and really harmoniously honor and worship this essence. And this is the art of truly living in unconditional love. And yes, I have spiritual ego, and that is the reason I don't really share this, because I get really pissed at seeing the shallowness of the information out there. But I also, at the same time, know that to reach at this depth, to understand this integrity, not all are here, because I have seen comments like what I say goes like this, like tangent, because I will not be able to explain a mind with a lot of questions like why did that happen, who's my soulmate, why did that come, why did soul that I did, why I got that synchronicity. Definitely I would love to make videos on that, and I have videos on that in my Quantum Dynamic 8 channel as well. But again, at the same time, deep within inside of your being, choose love. Choose to harbor in the spirit of love. Spirituality is not a competition. Spirituality is not competitiveness. Just nurture the essence of being within and flow. And before trash talking about spiritual poverty, understand that there is a thing called poverty consciousness, abundance consciousness. You have to go past those realities, go past those conditioning to reach a state of harboring unity in oneness. And that oneness has to be continuously cultivated and engulfed, and you keep on upsurging the energy by imbibing with positivity with the new revision of your life is amazing, everything is falling in place. But again, the entire process of conditioning changing has to be a continuous process and is always a continuous process. And when you are walking the path of self development, you must truly understand that the path of self development is about growth within, and everybody is doing their best they can, and we must support everybody, we must be in support of everybody, and must really stand in truth of all and be there for them because they were there for us. And if we cannot do that, world will be a very tragic place as this is today, fighting in rat race and competition, and there wouldn't be harmony, there wouldn't be unity, there wouldn't be love. And I don't care who this message reaches out to, but in my consciousness and with the collective unifying unity, it has reached out and done its work. And with its doing its work, the unity of truth has reached its and done its work. Meanwhile, keep standing in true unconditional love, and that's the way of perfect union with God, with your twin flame. As a jittery and everything will go on because we're all at the end of the day answerable to that inner peace and harmonious unity, and to be in that harmonious union wholeness with the entire planet, cosmos, and everything. We need to really be in that unity with your own self, be your own true self, and continue to be in harmony. And always be in one team with your twin flame, and you are in one team. This drama going on with DM is thinking this, DM is thinking that. We are actually separating our consciousness. And again, I am educated and I am the founder of Quantum Dynamic 8. So, quantum physics and quantum understanding has gone past the normal human understanding of astrology and all those things of stuff, because subconscious mind has really gone far away and has been coming out from the time since psychology was there. So it's that humans have evolved in my planet a lot, and I have also evolved as a planetary being with my planet. In my planet right now, there's Tesla and people like Elon Musk, and with seeing that happening, I'm really moved to literally be in support of the amazingness spirit of this world, and the amazing spirit of this world is something I feel extreme spirit in, extreme gratitude in, and I feel just extreme nurturance and extreme gratitude and love for this world, because we've evolved so much as species, and I think that it's all happening together. And wherever the spiritual consciousness of collective is where the impact is drawn out and is impacting the collective, and everything is possible in unity and harmony, not in competition. And whenever we get into competition, that kind of causes that topsy-turvy energy. And the only way to not get into the competition is to stand out and do your own self and let this reality flow on its own and do its thing, because this is your divine purpose, this is your divine flow of self, which will happen on its own. But till this happens on its own, nurture it and let it be and do other stuff, live your soul life purpose. You may have a lot of accomplishments to do in life than just this. So just let this happen on its own, because this is really precious. And when this happens, let it also have its own downloads and everything happening, so that you can really know how to channelize and invent it. Until then, enjoy your life, and in your life give remnants of this and aspects of this, because this is the voice of God and this is the power of God that wants to often speak through us, and that does not happen very frequently. It happens in divine timing. And at this point, wherever the collective is with spiritual poverty, I don't really share this. That is why, because I'm tired of complaints of this happened because of that, my dad did this, that is why I cannot do it, I don't have money, ma'am, please, my twin flame did this. This is why I do not get into this trap, because I am tired of explaining. So I'm like, I twin flame, okay, but I am a manifestation coach. You can be with anyone. You will hear me say that a lot, because this thing is so deep and so profound that I don't want to get into the foolishness of the crowd with this profoundness. So I will chill here and be in my zone and nurture from here and talk from my spirit of being as I'm guided, when I'm guided, like now I was guided. But also at the same time, I'll continue to live my life and chill in my life, because my matrix is about manifestations path. My matrix is where I connect the magic of Bhagavad Gita and connect the magic of manifestation and connect the magic of Wiccan, and I've created beautiful ways to cast spells and do quantum key healing, which creates magic, phenomenal magic. And that's my matrix. And that matrix of mine, I created for myself to chill there, have fun, party there, and I party there. And you can also party in your own matrix, in your own world, creating it, and you can charge any money. Money is not an issue. But the issue is trash talking out of illiteracy and thinking that, oh, that's so illiterate to think like that, that I cannot charge if I'm talking about God. Like, everything is from God. Everything is from God. You are breathing is because of God. Everybody is breathing. A person who's going to office is living a 3D life, is going and doing his normal stuff, is also from God. Everything is from God. Every person is doing the best that they can. Everything is happening perfectly. After this, also, however, God does system restructuring, whatever changes God gets, it will be also from God. So nothing till date was not from God. So it's high time we get over this exclusivity of spirituality and stop doing what those people did who killed Jesus. Don't be one of them who kills Jesus. Don't be a killer. Thank you.